How to create a spiral wave-like design such as this in Photoshop, PC or Mac. All starts with a very basic gradient. Just go over here and select the gradient tool. I'm going to be using a rainbow gradient. You can find that in default gradients. Also radial and normal, and simply apply. And you can create something like that. Very basic. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that to create a pattern design. How to create patterns from anything like this? Simply go to the libraries panel. This panel is super useful for all kinds of patterns. I know it doesn't look like it, but if you just go down here, this is one of the hidden features of Photoshop. I just do not understand why this feature is not mentioned more. Extract from image. Simply select there and it will pop up with this panel. And at this point, it doesn't look very much at all. In fact, it looks terrible. Patterns, got patterns there. And you've got different types, and you can select different types. I'm just going to go with the fourth one. You could choose your own, of course, but you can also modify the scale, and that's the key thing. So just boost it up and just drag this across. And as you do that, you can see the design looks a lot nicer. And you, of course, can go for any kind of design. I'm just going to go with that. You could, of course, go with anything you like in this sort of design, and it can be saved to your CC library. So it's stored away, and you can now use that as a pattern. There's one more step. You can see it down here in the Libraries panel. You can find that in the window menu, Libraries. Simply just go over here and you can right click and you can apply it straight away. But I like to do this, create pattern preset. So it stores it away as a pattern preset in the patterns panel. So create patterns preset. Then you go to the patterns preset panel and there it is. All you need to do then is just drag it over into the document. At this point, it's too big. It needs to be a lot smaller. I want it to be very tiny, and you can do that with patterns. Simply go to the layers panel, again, all the panels, window menu. And you can see now you've got this pattern. You just double click and it will bring up this panel. And you can go here to the scale. Instead of 100, put it to 5. And you can see then you've got this very tiny design. Well, with this, what you can do, click OK. And the reason I want this tiny design, I want that structure that ends up in the spiral wave. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to also flatten this, so layer and flatten image. Now I want to create some slight variation in that central part. How to do that? Well, I'm going to use Liquify. You could, of course, use anything. You use brush strokes, you could warp it that way. Loads of different meshes or whatever. But I'm just going to go to Filter and Liquify. And I'm going to use the Bloat tool. Here's the Bloat tool, just down there, you can see Bloat. And the settings just go for a fairly large brush, 1600 odd, 50 for density, and simply just click on it. And just as you do that, you can see what happens. It increases. Now, sometimes the design isn't exactly as you want. You have to just go back and recreate the pattern again. But say you've got this design, you can increase this, you can bloat this, and I'm just going to stop here and click OK right in the bottom there, the corner. So I've got this design. What I can now do is I can apply the wave to this. So just go to Filter and go down to Distort and Wave. So select that. And at this point, it doesn't look much. Now I suggest go with 1 as the number of generators. I find that much better than 5 as the default. And then set the wavelength. Now I'm going for 286, 853 for the max, but you can vary them. Just change it, and as you change it, you can see there in the preview, just variations. And of course, some might not be exactly right. You'll get different results if you've got different settings. And you put down here, amplitude, keep it about 100. The max, maybe 400. Just vary it. I don't think that really particularly matters there. And wraparound. And also sign, that's the key one. Now there's triangle and there's square. They create different designs, really great. I wish there were a lot more. I wish there was a drop down of 100 type of algorithms that you could use or types. But you can't, so click OK. Now you've got this, and now at this point it doesn't look very much at all. But what you can do, as with all the filters, is you can go to Filter and you've got this, Wave. You can repeat it. You can use this shortcut. Just use the shortcut. You can see the shortcut there, so just use that. And now I'm just going to do that and F. And you can see, repeat it. And you can do it 15, 20, 30, 40 times very rapidly. Now you could create an action. to do this. So you don't have to obviously press the keyboard, makes it, but you can see as you do that, apply it multiple times. Now sometimes the result isn't as maybe high contrast as or high sort of colourful as you would like. There's lots of course tools that you can modify it with. You can always go to image, adjustments, maybe go for auto tone. Sometimes that brings out something you think, oh, you know what, I like the yellows, I like the pinks in that now, and the purple looks much nicer. And also you can modify, of course, adjustments. You've got hue and saturation. You might like to turn around and say, oh, let's just boost there the hue, change the saturation, and click OK. And you can, of course, apply it multiple times. And again, filter, wave, more and more. And you can create a variety of different designs. Of course, depending on the input, library and gradient, and how you selected it, the result will be different. Well, I hope you found this of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you. Thank you much.